Russell Wood asked me if we could provide a speaker for Missouri cattlemen regarding the animal identification, and all of us are too busy hand feeding in the drought here in Australia, so we're doing the next best thing, and I'm doing a video which will be played to you. My name's John Carter. I'm a fifth generation Australian cattleman, and I've got a son and a grandson who are also very keen on the cattle industry. So we've been at it a long while, we feel very deeply about it, and we've got the oldest firebrand in Australia. This was registered in 1853, and that was the first registration. Now, we used it, or my grandfather used, great-grandfather, and he also used the earmark to identify his cattle so they could be separated from other people's cattle. And 50 years ago, I felt that firebranding, it wasn't compulsory, so I moved to a tattoo. Every calf born on the property is tattooed with the EC, the firebrand, and the ear. So they're identified from birth to death if anyone wishes to look in the ear. About 20 years ago, we in Australia introduced a tail tag system whereby we put a tag, a wraparound tag, around the tail. So we just wrapped it round before the animal went to sale. And that had a property identification on it, and it also, at my instigation, because I was then chairman of the New South Wales Meat Authority, and we licensed all the sale yards, sale barns and abattoirs, and I had an individual number put on so that anyone wanting to identify an individual carcass for some feedback reason could do so. It was never used. Now, about 6 years ago, we had some fanatic people pushing individual electronic radio frequency identification, and we in the Australian Beef Association fought this. We had very large meetings. We had about 95% of producers opposed to the introduction of this. But we were overruled, and we've now got this system where we put the tag in this operation, which is incidentally quite painful for the cattle, and you put it through the ear. Now, it's got a different number on the outside of the tag to the computer number on the inside to make it even more difficult. And basically, we've succeeded in producing a shambles. Now, why was this done? The individual property identification was doing all the any animal health problems that we had. We could track to the property. We had the individual tattoo in my case. We had all the identification anyone would ever want. It was done simply because the international tail tag, or at least not tail tag, RFID tag manufacturers and the computer reading people got their act together, and they have conned us. We were told that market access was vital. Well, the United States has proven, going back into Japan and Korea, that that was a furphy. We know of nobody in no retailing or large operation in Japan or Korea that is requiring individual ID. We were told that customers were demanding it. Now, I did a lot of research back in the 90s. We found that consumers don't want to know what animal their steak comes from. They don't want to know that it comes from a live animal. And the idea that they want to see a picture of the animal from which it came from is quite frankly ludicrous.